I'm here at beautiful Salmon Lake up in the Sierra Buttes.
It's an incredible place to enjoy nature. But a few steps away from the main lake, you'll find this pond, which you couldn't dare anyone to jump into. That's because the pond has undergone eutrophication. It's devoid of oxygen, unable to sustain living things. This is a product of excess nutrients in the water, most commonly nitrogen. Nitrogen-fixing and nitrifying bacteria convert nitrogen gas into nitrates, phosphates, and ammonium, all of which can be utilized by plants.
The nitrogen cycle is vital to living organisms because nitrogen produces amino acids which in turn create DNA and RNA. These are necessary for the health of plants, so naturally human beings have created an anthropogenic way to fix nitrogen,
using synthetic fertilizers that are full of nitrates. But when it rains or crops are watered, runoff from fertilized fields is taken to large bodies of water, like lakes or oceans. Synthetic fertilizers make the levels of nitrogen in these ecosystems overabundant, leading to high levels of productivity in the water. This creates algal blooms, and the beautiful aquatic plants that once thrived there are replaced by algae that consumes all of the nitrates from the fertilizer until the supply is gone, and then they promptly die.
This aquatic apocalypse brings in tons of decomposers to remove the dead algae from the water, requiring vast amounts of oxygen taken right from the water. This makes the body of water hypoxic, which means that it will kill all living organisms in the water. Thus, this once thriving habitat turns into a dead zone where fauna struggles to survive. Although eutrophication commonly occurs with an excess in nitrogen, this remote pond is nowhere near any sources of synthetic fertilizer. But see these tin cans littering the floor? We can infer that they've been here since around the early 20th century.
That's because miners flocked this area around that time period, leaving dams, rails, and other types of waste.
Evidently, littering isn't just a modern concept. Even early visitors left their tin cans to decompose, and here they stand over 100 years later.
When I first discovered this relic of the past, I was astonished and intrigued to see such an obscure piece of history immortalized in this way. But now I understand that the cans of the 19th century hold a detrimental component: tin-plated steel, which is made of iron. Iron, like nitrogen, is necessary in living organisms, but excess levels are toxic for fish and can cause algal blooms and produce neurotoxins.
With this iron comes iron-oxidizing bacteria, which turns the pond into an unpleasant orange color.
Although nutrients are doubtless important for the vitality of organisms, it's clear to see that an excess can turn a once beautiful and thriving habitat into a lifeless graveyard.
With toxic man-made products so pervasive, the recent destruction of the environment is exponential.
We as a society need to conserve the conditions we already have before it gets too late.
And if you've learned anything from the fate of this pond, it's to remember to recycle.
Bella, quiet. Bella, lay down. Good girl.
Grace, why don't you just call it Panting Dog Productions and then we don't have to worry about it.